Welcome back. Today's confession is different from the others, darker, more personal. I want to talk about lycanthropy, not the common kind, not werewolves prowling the forests or werebears hunting in Skyrim's frozen north. I want to talk about something scholars debate even exists, something that swims in the deep places where light does not reach. This is the story of what it is really like to become a wereshark. Not the folklore version, not the tales sailors tell to scare children. The truth, the one that cost me everything and will cost me the rest of whatever time I have left. This is my final confession, a warning left behind for anyone who sails the sea of ghosts. Anyone who thinks they understand what hunts in those waters. You do not. Nobody does. But by the time you finish listening, you will. And if you genuinely enjoy this kind of dark storytelling, consider subscribing and liking the channel, but only if it truly resonates with you. They say drowning is peaceful. They lie. I remember the cold first. Not the kind of cold that steals feeling from your fingers or makes your teeth chatter. The kind that reaches inside your chest and squeezes your heart until you think it might stop. The Sea of Ghosts lives up to its name in ways the old sailors never told me about. They warned me about the icebergs, the storms, the glowing spirits that lead ships to their doom. Nobody warned me about what swims beneath. My name does not matter anymore. What I was before that night on the fishing vessel Winter's Promise means nothing now, but I will tell you what happened because someone needs to know the truth before Hircine claims what is left of my soul. We were 3 days out from Dawnstar when the nets came up wrong. I had been working the northern waters for 12 years, and I knew every fish that swam those depths. The thing tangled in our nets was not a fish. It was not anything I had ever seen. Grayish skin, like shark skin, but shaped wrong. Arms where fins should be. A face that looked almost human if you squinted in the fog, but with teeth. So many teeth. My captain, old Bjorn Iceheart, he knew what it was immediately. I saw the color drain from his weathered face. He started praying to the divines right there on deck, hands shaking as he cut the nets. "Let it go," he said. "Let it go back to the depths where it belongs." But it was already dead. Whatever it was, our nets had killed it. I made my first mistake then. I touched it. The skin felt like frozen leather under my palm, rough and cold even through my gloves. There was a wound on its shoulder where the net had cut deep. Dark blood, almost black, still seeping out. I pulled my hand back, but not before I felt something. A pulse. Not from the creature, from the water itself, like the ocean recognized what had died and mourned it. Bjorn threw the body overboard without ceremony. We sailed hard for Dawnstar after that. Nobody spoke. The other fishermen would not even look at me. They knew I had touched it. They knew I had made contact with something that should have stayed in the deep folklore where scholars debate whether it even exists. The fever started that night. I thought it was just the cold at first. My bones ached like they were trying to reshape themselves under my skin. My teeth hurt. Everything hurt. Bjorn locked me in the hold. He knew. The old bastard had seen this before, though he never told me when or where. He left me water and a knife. Just one knife. "For mercy," he said, "for when you cannot bear what comes next." The transformation does not happen like it does with werewolves. I know because I have seen men turn into wolves before, up in the highlands near Falkreath. That change is violent and fast. This was slow, agonizing. Like drowning on dry land, my lungs burned, desperate for water instead of air. My teeth fell out one by one, pushed aside by rows of new ones growing underneath, sharper, made for tearing flesh. But here is the thing nobody tells you about lycanthropy, about Hircine's curse. It is not just your body that changes. Your mind splinters. Part of you stays human, screaming inside a prison of altered flesh. The other part, the beast part, it does not just want to hunt. It wants to return to the deep, to the cold darkness where things like this belong. I broke out of the hold on the second night. The wood splintered like kindling under hands that had grown claws. Bjorn was waiting on deck with a silver harpoon. He was a good man. He tried to aim for my heart. He missed. The sea called to me as I fell overboard, not with words, with a pull stronger than any tide. The moment I hit the water, everything changed. The burning in my lungs stopped. I could breathe. I could see in the darkness as clearly as day. I could feel every current, every living thing within 100 yards. Fish scattered before me. Even the horkers fled. I hunted that night, not because I wanted to, because the beast inside me demanded it. Seals, fish, anything warm-blooded that moved in my territory. I tasted blood in the water and felt satisfaction that was not entirely my own. When dawn came, I crawled onto the rocks near Winterhold, naked and shivering, with no memory of how many things I had killed. That was 3 months ago. I have been living in the caves along Pilgrim's Trench since then. You know the place. The ship graveyard where so many vessels have run aground. People think it is bad navigation or the sea ghosts that cause those wrecks. It is not. It is hunters like me. We are drawn to the sounds of ships, the vibrations in the water, the warmth of living bodies above the surface. What do you think really happened here? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I need to know if anyone else has seen what I have seen. I have tried to resist. I have tried to stay on land during the full moon, chains around my wrists, iron spikes driven through the cave walls to hold me. It does not work. The change comes, whether I fight it or not, and when it does, I slip into the water and hunt. I cannot stop it. I cannot control it. The beast takes over, and I wake hours later with blood under my claws and gaps in my memory. But I am not telling you this as a confession of murders. I am telling you this because I discovered something that the scholars who debate whether weresharks even exist do not know, something that even Hircine's own worshippers have not figured out. We are not supposed to exist. I found records in a shipwreck last week, a merchant vessel that went down in the Second Era, preserved by the ice and the salt. Among the cargo was a sealed chest containing books, old books. One of them was an original copy of On Lycanthropy, written by that scholar who survived a werewolf attack in his family's cellar. You know the one. It lists all 7 documented forms of the curse: werewolves, werebears, wereboars, wererelians, werecrocodiles, werevultures, and weresharks. But here is what made my blood run cold. In the margins, written in a different hand, was a note, a scholar's annotation. It said that weresharks were debated even in ancient times, that there had only ever been one confirmed case, one single incident of a human transforming into a shark beast, and that person had been specifically created by Hircine himself as part of a wager, a novelty, an experiment. We were never meant to be a strain of the disease. We were meant to be a myth, a single creation that died out centuries ago. So why am I here? Why did I catch lycanthropy from a dead creature that should not have existed? I have spent 3 months piecing together the truth from old wrecks and ancient texts scattered along this cursed coastline. The answer is worse than you can imagine, worse than I want to believe. Hircine is creating new strains, not through natural spread of the disease, through deliberate infection, through a process that should not be possible. Let me explain what I found. In another wreck, buried deeper in the trench, I discovered the journal of a Glenmoral witch. The pages were protected by some kind of preservation spell, still readable after what must have been centuries underwater. She wrote about a ritual, a summoning, a deal made with the Daedric prince of the Hunt on the 5th of mid-year in the year 2E 412. The witch described how Hircine had grown bored with his usual hounds. Werewolves were everywhere, too common, too predictable. He wanted to expand his hunting grounds beyond the forests and the tundra. He wanted hunters who could pursue prey where no werewolf could follow, into the depths, into the cold, dark waters, where even his own realm could not easily reach. So he made a deal with a coven of sea witches. They would provide him with subjects, sailors, fishermen. people who lived on the water and understood its rhythms. In exchange, Hircine would grant them power over the tides, control over the very sea ghosts that haunted these waters. The ritual required three things: a willing subject, the blood of a shark taken during a hunt, and a death by drowning under the full moon. But here is where it gets twisted. The ritual failed. Every single time they tried it in the beginning, the subjects just died. They drowned and stayed dead. No transformation, no beast blood, just corpses that washed up on shore with lungs full of seawater. The witch wrote that Hircine grew frustrated, angry. He demanded the coven try harder, sacrifice more. But nothing worked. The human body rejected the change. Something about the nature of sharks, about their ancient blood, made them incompatible with the curse of lycanthropy. Until they tried something different, the coven stopped trying to transform the living. They started with the dead. They took the corpse of a drowned sailor and performed the ritual backward. They forced the beast blood into dead flesh and bound it there with Daedric magic. When they cast the body back into the sea, it did not sink. It swam. It hunted. It became the first true wereshark, a revenant, a thing that was neither fully alive nor properly dead, a hunter that existed in the spaces between. And when that creature bit someone, when it drew blood from a living victim, the curse finally spread. Not as the witch had intended, not as Hircine had designed, but it spread anyway, like a disease that had mutated into something new, something wrong. The journal ended there. Water damage had destroyed the final pages, but I did not need to read more to understand. That first wereshark, the revenant, it had been swimming these waters for centuries, infecting others, creating more of its kind, building a pack in the deep places where no one looked, where even the scholars who studied lycanthropy never thought to search. I had pulled one onto my boat, one of the descendants of that original abomination, and when I touched its blood, the curse recognized me as prey, as potential, as something it could hollow out and fill with hunger. If this story has kept you listening this far, and you want more of these dark confessions from Skyrim, hit that subscribe button. It tells me someone out there is still paying attention to warnings like these. I started tracking the others after that. Other were sharks. I could sense them now, feel them in the water when I transformed. There are more than you would think. Dozens, maybe, all along the northern coast from Dawnstar to Winterhold. Some are older than me, some are recent. All of us, trapped in the same cycle. Hunt, kill, wake up human, try to remember, fail, transform again. But there is a hierarchy. I learned that fast. The older ones, the ones who have been cursed for decades, they remember more. They retain more of their human minds, even in beast form. They can hunt with purpose, with strategy, and they protect something, a place deep beneath the ice fields, north of Winterhold, where the sea full of ghosts meets the ruins of old Atmora. I followed one there 2 weeks ago, an old Nord woman who transforms every 3 days like clockwork. She swims north every time, and I tracked her wake through the darkness. 5 hours of swimming through water so cold it would kill a normal person in minutes. Down where the light does not reach, where the pressure makes your skull feel like it might crack. There is a structure down there, not a ruin, not a shipwreck, a temple, built from black stone that seems to absorb what little light filters from above. The architecture is wrong, too sharp, too angular. Daedric. This is where the original revenant lives. I did not go inside. I could feel it waiting in there, something ancient, something that had been hunting these waters since before Ysgramor's sons sailed from Atmora. The pull was overwhelming, not just the beast inside me. My human mind wanted to enter too, wanted to kneel before whatever dwelled in that temple and offer myself completely to the hunt. I fled, swam back to shore so fast I thought my heart would burst. I have not transformed since then. I have been fighting it, staying on land, eating nothing, drinking only enough water to survive. The hunger is getting worse. the pull stronger, because here is what I finally understood, what I wish I had realized sooner. We are not like werewolves who can be cured by the Glenmoral witches. We are not even like the other rare strains of lycanthropy that respond to the old rituals. We were created through death magic, through a process that bound our souls to Hircine's hunting grounds before we even died. The moment the curse took hold, we stopped being fully alive. If you have ever wondered what choice you would make in a situation like this, tell me in the comments, because I am running out of time to decide. I am already dead. I just have not stopped moving yet. And when I finally give in, when I swim north to that temple and let the revenant claim what is left of my humanity, I will become like the others, a perfect hunter. No more guilt, no more fear, just the endless satisfaction of the hunt in the cold darkness. The worst part? A piece of me wants it, craves it. The human part that still remembers warmth and laughter and the taste of hot mead on a winter night, even that part is tired. Tired of fighting, tired of fear. The beast promises peace, purpose, a place in a pack that will never die, never age, never stop. But I know what that peace costs. I have seen the old ones, the ones who have been swimming these waters for so long, they barely remember their names. They are not free, they are slaves. Hircine's hounds in the water, just like the werewolves are his hounds on land. And when the hunting grounds finally claim my soul, I will hunt for eternity, not for sport, not for glory, but because that is all I will know how to do. I am recording this confession in Yngol Barrow. You know the place where Ysgramor buried his son after the sea ghosts took him. There is a strange poetry to it. Yngol was the first of the companions to die in Skyrim, killed by things in the water that nobody truly understood. Now I am here, about to become one of those things forever. I chose this place because I found something in the deepest chamber, something the Draugr have been guarding for thousands of years. A helm, not the one you can take from Yngol's corpse in the main chamber. This one was hidden behind a false wall, protected by wards so old they barely function anymore. It is made from the same black stone as that temple beneath the ice. Daedric script covers every inch of its surface. I cannot read most of it, but one phrase repeats over and over, carved so deep the letters cut into the metal beneath. The hunt never ends. I think I know what happened to Yngol now. The real story, not the legend about sea ghosts and storms that the Nords tell. He was the first wereshark in Skyrim, the original test subject for Hircine's experiment. That is why the sea ghosts took only him and his crew, not all 500 companions, just Yngol's boat. They were not ghosts at all. They were the Coven's lure. The witches drew him away from the fleet, drowned him under the full moon, and performed the ritual. It worked too well. Yngol transformed, became the revenant, but he was Ysgramor's son, a warrior, strong-willed. He fought the curse even in death, swam south, back toward his father's fleet, tried to warn them, but all they saw was a monster rising from the waves. So they killed him again, properly this time. Ysgramor built this barrow, thinking he was honoring his son. He never knew he was actually imprisoning something that could rise again if disturbed. The Draugr are not here to guard treasure. They are here to make sure nothing wearing this helm ever leaves, to make sure the first wereshark stays buried. But the curse did not end with Yngol. The Coven had already infected others. The disease spread, and now, 3 ages later, I am dealing with the consequences of an experiment that went wrong before the first era even began. I put on the helm 3 hours ago. I know I should not have, but I needed to understand, needed to see what Yngol saw, what he knew. The moment it touched my head, I understood everything. The helm is not armor, it is a prison, a phylactery. Yngol trapped his own soul inside it, rather than let Hircine claim him. He chose to haunt this barrow forever, instead of hunting in the Daedric prince's realm. Even as a revenant, even cursed beyond redemption, he found a way to defy his fate. The visions the helm showed me were worse than anything I imagined. I saw the temple beneath the ice through Yngol's eyes. I saw him swimming there willingly, drawn by the same pull I feel. I saw him kneel before the original revenant, the thing the witches created, and I saw what it really is. It is not a person anymore. It is a fragment of Hircine himself, a splinter of the Daedric prince's consciousness bound into dead flesh, an anchor point Hircine learned from his failure with the werewolves, from that humiliation at Sheogorath's hands. He realized that to truly expand his realm, he needed permanent extensions of himself in places he could not easily reach. The ocean, the deep waters that even Daedric princes find difficult to influence directly. So he created the Revenant, not as a servant, as part of himself, and every wereshark it creates, every person infected with this particular strain of lycanthropy, we become extensions to. Pieces of Hircine scattered across the sea of ghosts. When we die, we do not just go to the hunting grounds, we become them. Our souls are harvested to expand his realm beneath the waves. He is building a second hunting ground, an underwater reflection of his oblivion plane, and he has been doing it for thousands of years, one drowned soul at a time. I saw others in the visions, dozens of revenants in the Pard, different oceans across Nirn, the Abyssian Sea, the Padomaic Ocean, the Inner Sea near Morrowind, all of them created through the same process, all of them spreading the curse, building Hircine's aquatic domain, one infection at a time. The scholars who debate whether weresharks exist, who argue that they are just folklore, they are wrong. But they are also right. We exist. But we are not natural. We are invasive. A disease that was never meant to be part of Tamriel's ecosystem. An artificial strain of lycanthropy designed to corrupt the one place Hircine could not easily control. Yngol discovered all of this, and instead of accepting it, he severed his connection, trapped himself in this helm, chose eternal isolation over eternal servitude. It cost him everything, his afterlife, his chance at Sovngarde, his very identity. The soul inside this helm barely remembers being human, but it remembers choosing, remembers that freedom matters more than power. I have a choice to make now. The bot, same choice Yngol made. I can take off this helm, walk out of this barrow, let the transformation come naturally when the moon rises tonight, swim north to the temple and accept what I am becoming. Join the pack, become one of Hircine's extensions in the deep, lose myself but gain purpose, power, an end to the fear and the guilt and the constant fighting. Or I can do what Yngol did, trap my own soul, stay here in this barrow until the curse burns through what is left of my humanity, die properly, completely, deny Hircine his prize, deny him the expansion of his realm by even one more soul. It is not much of a choice. Both paths lead to the same place, death, loss of self, but one defies a Daedric prince. One says that even cursed beyond hope, even transformed into a monster, a person can still choose. I am going to stay. I am going to sit here in this chamber with Yngol's helm on my head and wait for the transformation that will not come. The curse will consume me from the inside. It will hurt. It will take days, maybe weeks, but I will not swim north. I will not become another piece of Hircine's growing realm. When they find my body, if they ever do, they will think I was just another adventurer who died exploring an ancient barrow. They will not know I was saving them from becoming prey, from having one more hunter in the waters, one more extension of a Daedric prince who will not stop until every ocean bows to his will. This is my confession, my warning. If you fish the sea of ghosts, if you sail those waters, understand what swims beneath. Understand that the attacks you hear about, the disappearances, the ships that vanish, they are not accidents. They are not sea monsters in the traditional sense. They are people, people like me, who touched something they should not have, who caught a disease that rewrites everything you are, who face a choice between servitude and oblivion. I chose oblivion. I chose to be forgotten rather than be used. And if you ever find yourself infected, if you ever wake up with teeth falling out and lungs that burn for seawater, remember this. Remember you have a choice. It will hurt. It might cost you everything, but you can choose. The hunger is getting bad now. The pull toward the water. I can hear the ocean even down here, through layers of stone and earth. I can feel the other weresharks swimming, hunting, calling to me. The revenant knows I am defying it. I can feel its attention on me, like cold hands around my throat, but I am not moving. I will not move. Let Hircine rage. Let the curse tear me apart from inside. I am staying in this barrow. I am staying with Yngol. 2 failures, 2 refused servants, 2 souls that would rather fade into nothing than hunt for eternity. If you are hearing this, if you found this recording somehow, do not come looking for me. Do not try to cure me. It is too late for that. Just stay away from the waters north of Winterhold. Stay away from the shipwrecks in Pilgrim's Trench. And if you see something in the water that looks almost human, if you see a face with too many teeth, do not touch it. Do not help it. Let it sink back into the depths where it belongs. This is where my story ends, where I end. Not with glory, not with redemption, just with a choice. The last free choice I will ever make. Remember that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to become what you were meant to be.